Hello, welcome everyone. This is Amy, Mystic Rose Tarot. Um, I got a request that was in one of my episodes recently. I had a comment when I was talking about the Talos Tarot, which this deck is the Telos Tarot 777. This is the Witch's Oracle here. I had made mention about consecrating this deck before using it. And the comment that I got was, could I explain what consecration is, and what it does, and what tools to use, and all of that stuff. So I thought, that's a really good topic of discussion. I don't think, I'm certain there are a few videos on YouTube discussing this, but I don't know so much in regards for the tarot. I'm not searching on YouTube for topics on consecrating tarot decks, but this one's for you, for the person who requested this. So, consecration, what is that word? What does it mean? It is slightly open to interpretation, but to put it in a simple term, it's basically to venerate, to empower, to use certain properties while consecrating a deck that you want to put into a particular deck. So for instance, if there's a deck that you feel you want to work with specifically with career, business, money, because that deck holds that kind of energy for you, and when you do readings it works well, then you would consecrate, you would venerate, you would embody that deck with tools and energy that will heighten the use of that deck in regards for its readings and the way that it communicates with you. So let's just briefly talk about that, and then I'll get to showing some examples here. So if we have a deck that you want to use for career and for business, okay, so we're looking at money, we're looking at earth, we're looking at the element of earth, astrological signs, Taurus, the earth signs of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Those are all signs that are influenced through the use of work, either of service, of investing in things, being structured and disciplined, and getting things done in a certain manner. So that's one example right there of consecrating a deck that you want to use maybe for business, finances, and stuff like that, is bring in those energies of Taurus. And you could do that by visually focusing the energy of those three earth signs, and potentially putting in influences of those signs, maybe having some earth, some ashes, anything that is related to the ground, anything that is made up of earth. It could be an amulet that you feel grounds you and focuses you with this energy of determination and dedication. The color green is the color for earth. It's also used for money. So things like that. Herbs, oils like patchouli, cinnamon. That's not really a earth herb or oil, but it can be used to fire up that energy. Cinnamon's actually used in luck, the same as clove. So there are all these properties that you can use, for example, to embody a deck with that influence of business, career, along those lines, money primarily. But to take one step backwards, I want to focus on what I have here. So I already consecrated the Telos Tarot, and what I did was something very simple, excuse me, is I am a very strong proponent and user of elemental energy. So elements are earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So what I did was I worked with those 5 properties, but primarily the 4, because the 4 is what we are made up of. We all have earth, air, fire, water within ourselves. Some of us are more than one particular element, less than another. But with this deck, I wanted to bring in all of those energies. So what I did here is, this is for an example, because you're going to see these candles have been used. I got a red candle for fire. That will represent the energy of the south. I have a green candle here, okay? This represents the energy of north, earth energy. North tends to be the direction that comes placed during our winter season. And our winter season is ushered in through the sign of Capricorn. It's a cardinal sign. It's what gets things moving and rolling as we get ready to go into the spring season. Okay, so I got the red. I'm gonna put here. This is a really shortened version of north, south, east, west. Okay, yellow. Okay, yellow candle. Well, sorry, you cannot see this. Okay, yellow candle. Represent the direction of east, air, communication, intelligence, mental outlooks, perspective. So this would be air. This would be east, yellow, east. And then we have our blue candle. There we go. So a really short version of north, south, east, and west. Okay. And so we have the blue for water. Water is of the emotions, of intuitive energy, of feelings. Okay. These are the 4 properties that make up a tarot deck if they are working with the elements of Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles. Wands is fire energy. Remember red here? Okay. Cups is emotions, feelings. So we're looking at blue. Swords. Okay. Air, intellect, communication. Okay. And then the green. The green representing earth. So again, things that are valued, things that are more of the material realm. How to connect with those aspects. These 4 colors here, they're basically primary colors, are the energies for your tarot deck. Okay, so that's basically how I started to consecrate the deck. I actually spent time and I consecrated each of the suits and the court cards and the major arcana separately. Okay, so this consecration actually took about 2.5 days. And so I worked with those energies. I visualized. When consecrating a deck, you should visualize this energy going into it. Just don't light a candle and go and say yellow candle for the east. Well, you can say that yellow candle for the east, green for the north, blue for water, cups in the west, and then red fire energy for the south. You could call in those properties, but you need to visualize and you need to send that energy into those cards, because those are the forces that you'll be working with. And so that's what I do. This deck, the Telos Tarot, I'm not going to use it for anything specific. Some readers do. Some readers feel like there's a deck that works good for maybe things that are of the subconscious, emotionally deep-rooted work that needs to be done. Maybe there's a deck that calls out more for the psychosis of the situation, the psychology, the mind. Um, and then we got fire energy, a deck that may ring to you that is just so full of creativity and it's very inspiring. You can work with those energies as well. So I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here is working with these properties. Okay, you could bring in other candles because this deck was consecrated a few days before the solar eclipse that we had in October. I don't like to consecrate anything during an eclipse. That energy is very intense, and I'm going to get some more water for this since it's firing up. That water or that energy is very intense, and let me get right back here. It's really intense, and I feel it's best to know those forces that you're working with. You know, it's masculine, it's solar energy, but also it's the moon crossing in front of the sun. So we have these two forces merging, but they are intense. So for me, I'm kind of careful when it comes to doing anything during any eclipse season because energy is being blocked, but it is also joining at the same time, but it's not energy of the sun and the moon at its fullest potential, I feel. Okay, but other people may think differently. They may feel the solar eclipse is just a wonderful time to do consecration and clearing with tools. I did it for April when we had our solar eclipse here in the United States. I cleared a few things, but I left it at that. I didn't get full involved. So consecration can come in the form of also working with these elements here. I have here a diffuser with some essential oils in it. Frankincense, very good, very good. It was recommended by Emmeline for the Tellus Tarot if you want to consecrate the deck to use frankincense. So I did with this deck. And please be careful with decks because some people say, you could sprinkle some of the water on the deck. It's not necessary because that's gonna cause an issue and some potential irreparable damage to the cards. So I think by just having that energy, this could be for water, depending also the oil that you're putting in. Okay, frankincense is really good for sanctifying, for consecrating. It's one of the herbs that's used in some churches for clearing and for purity. So you can work with that. I feel it's good to have just a few of these oils or herbs when it comes to consecrating a deck. Frankincense is one. There's, I believe it's pronounced Kefi. I'm going to show you right here. You can see there. Okay, so this is the Bible for incense oils and brews by Cunningham. This is one of the first books I got when it came to working with incense. And as you can see, this Kefi's pretty involved. There's cinnamon, cassia, juniper berries, orris, cypress, frankincense. You see they've been sowing. There are so many varieties that you can do. So you can see here, there's the Kefi simplified, so it's not so involved. So you can always improvise. I highly would say to get this book. I know there's other incense oils and books that are written more from a contemporary perspective, but I feel to get to the root of how incense and oils are used, Cunningham's book. I'm trying to be careful not to light this book on fire because I have my candle right here. So I feel that's the best book. It's very simple. It's herbs that you can find in many metaphysical stores, and sometimes right in your grocery store, like cinnamon, clove, uh, not really frankincense, but more of the edible herbs that you can put into a oil or incense blend to create your own for consecrating. So the oil here, I'm using this for the element of water, but again, keep in mind those elements that you put in here. If you're working with incense that has fire, it's going to infuse that energy more so than some of the other elements. So I would recommend, when consecrating with oil and or incense, if you can, try to get a blend that focuses on earth, air, fire, water. Okay, and so Scott Cunningham's book breaks down the different properties astrologically and also elementally, how to work with the herbs and oils when creating your own blend, your own oils, and or for consecrating. Now the same here for incense. Just it's the same concept. The incense for me would represent air. Okay, so we have air, water, fire would be the candles. Okay, earth. Now what can we do for earth? Okay, you can put some dirt if you like near the table, but what I would do is I would leave a little bit of like venerate, which is an herb and an oil that you can use. Patchouli is another earth-bound element. I think oak moss. Look at those properties, the ones that are earth, and I would do like a blend of the air and of the water, of the oil and of the incense, to work with that element of earth. Okay, you could leave some dirt and maybe just rub your hands with it. Now the dirt should be pure. Okay, it shouldn't have any fertilizer. It should be something that's like fresh from the forest, anything of that nature. I have some clay. It's like red clay. That's part of the earth. That's also a detoxifier. So I'd be careful using any kind of earth that would maybe detoxify or draw away energy. Okay, because what we're trying to do with the deck is we are infusing the deck with these energies. So we don't want anything to deplete. So watch out, don't use dragon's blood, because that's something that can also steer away negative energy. It could also be protective energy as well. You can use a little bit of that. But personally, I would not use dragon's blood because it is a very empowering incense, a resin. And so I would only use that for its intent and purposes. So I created a blend. I'm not going to say what's in it, but I need to make some more. So this is a blend that I use for increasing the energy. So even though I'm working with all the 4 properties here, earth, air, fire, water, with these elements, and the candles also relate to fire, if I feel like I want to put a little bit more oomph into it, this blend that I have here works really well. So if you're going to create your own incense blend for consecrating and empowering, have some frankincense. Okay, this is frankincense tears. That's part of what's in here. And look again. I don't want to give secrets away, because I think people need to do some research and figure out what is their best secret. What can they come up with that will enliven and make their practice, their magic practice, their tarot practice, that much more unique and that much more powerful. So look into the properties again to influence the energy that you want to put in. If you have a deck that you want to not incorporate, but you want to use for relationships, what are some of the things you can use right there? Rose, right? Look at incense and oils that deal with the heart, deal with healing, dealing with love. Okay, so those will probably be water influenced incense and oils. Lavender is a good one. Like I mentioned, rose. I can't think of some other ones right off the bat. There could be some fiery energy into that when it comes to, working on a relationship. You may want to put a little bit of a fire influence into it, into the incense or oils. So there's so many different ways you could take this. There are also online, there are some blends that you can use to work with your tarot deck. There was a woman, Eileen Halverson. Her book is called The Tarot Apothecary. I believe that's the title. It came out about 2 years ago. And she created a wonderful blend of oils that you can use to work with certain archetypes. And I ran out of one of them, or the only one that I had. And I contacted her, and she's not making these oils anymore, because there's a lot of oils involved when you're creating, something that you're going to consecrate with, something that you're going to work with. So you want to put in all those properties and make sure that it feels right, and it will connect. Those oils will connect with the energy of the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. So it started to become cost prohibitive, and so she no longer makes those. So the reason why I'm saying that is, if you buy her book or get her book, The Tarot Apothecary by Eileen Halverson, she's based in Portland. She shows you different ways that you can create your own blends, and I think that's wonderful. There are some water essences, floral essences that you can connect with the tarot, and if you want to work specifically with certain archetypes, you can do that. Here, I'm going to move this here very carefully. Here we have all the 4 elements. I have Ace of Cups, Discs, Wands. I'm going to carefully move this, and there's our swords. Okay. And so you can also work with each of these cards. Remember what I was saying? That when I consecrated the telos, and I tend to do this with some new decks, I break it up. I break it up into the majors. I break it up into the minor arcana and the court cards. The court cards are considered part of the minor arcana, but the court cards have different energy. They're more personifications of the energies of the prince, princess, the page, the knight, the king, the queen, all of that. And so I work with those energies, infusing again with the elements, and to empower those energies into it. Another thing that you can do is sound. Okay, you can ring bells, use bells, or a bell to activate. I mean, in a sense, you are activating by using these principles of incense for air, the oils here for water. But again, keep in mind the kind of incense and oils that you're using. It should be, I feel, a blend of all 4 elements. This can further activate. It's like you're calling in this energy and you're setting it, and it's like, empower. What do I need to bring into this deck? What do I need for guidance? Okay, and you focus that intention, and you just ring it in, literally. So that's about it in a nutshell. Do some research, I would say, for some different oils and different incense blends. Okay. And always have a candle. Again, remember here I have the 4 candles here relating to earth, air, fire, water. Okay, make sure you place them in the right direction. The green represents earth, it's north. The red is fire, which is always south. Air is east, okay, yellow. Blue, water, west. Okay, so the sun rises in the east, so we have the air, the intellect, the mind, and it sets in the west with the water and the ocean. Those beautiful sunsets that some of us have seen when a sun disappears into the ocean. We would use those properties of water, intuitiveness during that time. And that's another way of consecrating. Working, connecting with your deck when the sun rises at that moment. Do meditation, do visualization, very important visualization. And then, not that you have to do this for the entire day, and then when the sun sets, focus on this energy. Focus on the energy of water. Okay? Oh God, there's so much more. One other thing I forgot to mention. If you can, work with a silver and gold candle. Silver is feminine energy, gold is masculine energy. Properties that are in all tarot decks and that are within us. So if there's a deck that you want to infuse feminine energy more, let's work with some silver. Okay, maybe some blue and silver energy. There's energy that you want to enliven and make more active. Let's work with the energy of the wands. Gold, fiery energy, vitality. This is all masculine energy. Okay, so see if you can work with those candles, just to add more. Okay, so those are nuances if you want to add a little bit more energy, specific energy into your deck. So again, look online. There's hundreds of incenses that you can work with to work with this deck. I'm going to wrap it up here in a little bit. There's one way that you can actually, I'm just going to throw this off to the side because when I first heard this, I thought it was pretty fascinating. If there is a deck that you have, okay, I'm going beyond consecrating a deck, but a deck that has just been, that holds unclean energy, like the readings are just not, you're just not connecting with it, it just feels not good. Maybe you feel like there's some negative energy or a lot of negative energy, maybe someone who touched the deck that you were doing the reading for, you felt some of that energy transfer into the deck and it's not holding its energy the way it has. This is one thing that you can do is you need to cleanse that deck. Okay, so cleanse the deck during a full moon to release. And then when the moon starts waxing after it's, or when the moon wanes and it's in its new moon stage, from the new moon going to the waxing stage is when you start putting in this energy that you need to put into the deck. So again, we're calling in all four quarters: north, south, east, west, earth, air, fire, water. So it's basically like you're erasing the deck with the energy and you're recharging it. That's basically what cleansing a deck is. It's just recharging the deck, visualizing putting in a lot of good energy into this deck. White candles, light candles, not dark candles, but light colored candles to just lighten the energy and get it back to where you are. And after you've done that, you start putting your energy back into that deck, and that deck is like, I want to say it's good as new, but it starts feeling like it's back working with you again. Okay, so it's rare. There are times that some people have actually burned the deck because it was so bad. Some people have burned the decks. I don't think you have to go to that extreme, but just be mindful of the energy that you're going to be working with if you're going to burn a deck. Okay, make sure you're protected when you're doing that kind of work. Some people have buried the deck. They've buried the deck for 30 days, 20 to 30 days, so it could go through the full cycle of the moon. And then during the new moon, you take the deck out because the new moon is going to start waxing, and that's when you start putting in this positive energy, okay? Because the moon is energizing, or the moon is growing and it's gaining its power. Keep in mind too the sign that the moon is in as well when you do this kind of work, okay? I wouldn't bury a deck, but you know, there's some people that fall with strong superstition, and if they feel they have to do it, then by all means you do what you feel you have to do. A great way to close a deck, if you need to cleanse it in that way, is in the sun. Now don't leave it directly out in the sun, especially a brand new deck like this, but just charge it. You don't have to put all 70 to 72 cards, depending on what deck you have, or 80. You don't have to line them out, okay? But just keep in mind the sun is powerful in a physical sense, and it could do damage to your card, like lighten the colors of your deck. So all you need to do is just like leave it in the direction of the sun, not in the sun. Like on a windowsill, just make sure it's just not going to be hit properly directly from the sun. Just make sure it's diffused, and that's a way of recharging that deck, okay? Because then we're working with that moon energy, feminine energy, charging it with that, and then we have the masculine energy, the sun, that's putting in that life force as well, and then we have a blending of those two forces, okay? So that's one way of cleansing the deck. So I think that's it. I think that's a good start. If you have any questions, if you do consecrate your deck, especially when it's a new deck, feel free to share how you do it or what properties you feel. It's always important, again, I need to emphasize that it goes more so than burning incense and burning oils and lighting candles. You need, and don't walk away. You have to be there while this whole process is taking place. Okay, you're creating, you're putting your magic into this. If you walk away and you light the candle and all this, you're just not showing any respect towards this tool that you're going to be working with and that you're going to be practicing and studying with. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Show your intentions. Go through the whole process. It could be like 15 minutes, depending all on your time and how much. But like I said, I wanted to pace myself with the telos and break it up into sections and infuse the energies of earth, air, fire, water into that deck. Okay, so there you have it. Another thing, one last thing is, if there is one card, this is from the Witch's Oracle, if there's one card that just really stands out for you, I pulled this card out in particular while I was shuffling, and I had a few of the Telos Tarot cards out. This card fell out, and it said the Wisdom Keeper. And we have the key right above, and we have the owl headdress over this person using the hand gesture in the shape of the key. So I thought this was very, very wonderful to get this message from this deck. So if you get something like that, if you draw a card just for extra guidance, you can use that card as your guide. You know, go to an oracle deck if you feel needed outside of this deck, and just pull a card. Focus your intention on the deck that you're consecrating, and just see what else you need to know from it. Don't pull the card from the deck that you're consecrating because you're not ready to use it until it's fully venerated. Work with an outside deck, preferably an oracle card, so you could get like one straight message in relation to what's needed or what needs to be understood with this deck. Okay, so that's it, and I just want to show you this cute little, it's very delicate, so it's about to break off. So this is a seed pod that I came across of a horse chestnut. I've never seen anything like this, and it has little spikes on it. And I found this last week, and it's like, you know what, this is such a strong sign. Oh, there we go, it just broke off. This is such a strong sign for our energy of the harvest and the autumn season, and as we get close to Samhain. And this was lying next to it. I don't know if this was the chestnut that came out from this. I don't think so, because it's big, but I don't think it fit. But I saw this right next to it, and it's like, this is beautiful. So this is going to be right here alongside of the leaf here for prosperity and for health and for abundance in all areas. So I just want to show you that. It's beautiful what Mother Nature can create. And this is the inside of it. All right, so this is another thing that you can do too. You know, find something that is of nature, something that inspires you, something from the earth, and you could bring that to the table when it comes to working with any deck that you're going to consecrate. Okay, so again, consecration is empowering. It's venerating a deck with your energy, using these elements of earth, air, fire, water, or any kind of power that you want to put into this. Surround your deck with the tools of the energy of those tools that you want to put into that deck. Primarily like the incense and the oils, and that relate to earth, air, fire, water. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful week, and thank you to the viewer who put this request. This is for you, and I will be back soon. I'm almost done through the Telos Tarot. I got it like 2 weeks ago, and this deck has been moving through me very nicely. I'm connecting with it a lot quicker than I had expected. So right now I'm going through the minor arcana. I'm starting with where we are right now, Virgo into Libra. So I'm going through those decans. I'm going to go through all of it and then create a video like I need to do with the Tabula Mundi, how to work with this deck, you know, how to understand and how to interpret the suits and the archetypes and the court cards in this deck. Okay, so have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you again. Appreciate comments. Let people know about this channel. I definitely have more to come. There's just going to be little gaps in between for content, but here's this for you. I also do live readings, so like, subscribe, let people know about this channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll know when I'm going to be releasing content and when I'm going to be doing another live, and have some guests, which I'm planning on soon. All right, look forward to seeing you virtually again. Have a wonderful week, and I hope everyone's having a great autumn.